Okay, so when I went to see Star Wars on opening night, actually I think it was the day after opening night. It was December 18th. We wanted to go to the 10 o'clock showing, but my girlfriend's dad had to go pick up her brother. But we were fine with that, so we picked the earlier showing. But then all of a sudden, it didn't make sense to go to that showing because the movie was really long. I think it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. How long is that movie?
I think it's 2 hours and 16.
16 minutes. Well, close enough. But yeah, so it's really long. We didn't expect it to go over that time. But the problem was we didn't want to. We didn't want the bad seating because we went in the theater and we just saw it was horrible seating. So we waited 30 minutes for the next showing. And so the dad had to leave right before Han Solo died.
Oh no.
Oh,
And yeah,
Jesus.
so like when he had to leave like right before, we were all like where he went. We were asking where he went. He had to go pick up his brother, and he was just really upset when he found that out. He heard it on a radio station later that night.
Oh
So
my
he was
gosh.
devastated. He came back to us that night. He was like, "Wait, did he really?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
no.
that really happened."
that's
So yeah,
hilarious.
that's
man.
awful. I know.
Well,
We
yeah.
felt so bad for him.
That's a good story. This is unofficially episode 3 of the Tuesday Crusaders. We have finally decided on a name.
We have a
Yeehaw.
name.
I'm Matt Wilson. You can find me on Instagram at dead_BOI. Next to me,
I am Cody. You can find me on Twitter at Cody Atkins.
And I'm Sarah. You can find me also on Twitter at PerpetualStorm7.
I am Tristan Davis at Blueberry Probert, BLU Berry Probert.
and we had a Star Wars episode previously recorded about a week ago, but the audio file got pretty corrupted. So
Terribly
it was pretty
corrupted.
bad because all of us were kind of just rehashing the movie, and then halfway through we were like,
Halfway through,
"Oh, this is dumb. We should just talk about cool stuff about the movie." So that's what we're gonna be doing this week.
halfway through, Matt scolded all of us and said, "Why are we talking about this?"
Yeah.
So we have pretty much a better show plan for you today. So we're gonna open up and talk about why we liked the movie and give it a grading scale of 1 to 10. And you're gonna tell us why, regardless of whatever your grading scale is. And then we're gonna jump right into the movie for spoiler territory.
One thing I want to say before that, just a little bit more plugging to do. We're going to be having a Tumblr, an Instagram, and a YouTube channel where you can find all of our information and podcasts. It's going to be The Tuesday Crusaders on YouTube and Instagram.
Mhm.
We'll let you guys know if anything changes. Not like anyone's actually listening to this except for us. Hi, Mom. Oh, shout out to Amanda Panda. How you doing?
That's his girlfriend he took on a date. That's that one.
That's who I'm
Mhm.
talking to. What's up?
Amanda Panda. Hey,
Amanda
girl.
Panda.
She seems really sweet. That was a nice little
Mhm.
Groot thing I saw on
Oh,
your
yeah,
Instagram.
thanks-
What was
thanks
that?
for
That
the
looks
Groot.
really nice.
It's a planted Groot that you put, got like magic soil in it, and you
Uh-huh.
put like these seeds in it, and then when it grows, it wraps around Groot, and it also glows in the dark.
That's
That's
really
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
That is
pretty-
so
it's
cool.
Pretty freaking rad.
Have you guys seen that BB-8 at the
Oh, the one
at
you control on your
the
phone?
control on your phone?
Mhm.
I went to go buy one and they are like $150.
I know. I want one too. It's not worth it though.
They
If it
have
were,
them
like,
if you go to Disneyland, they have them, and the cast members will take them out and show you how it works. It's pretty cool.
if it were like 3 times bigger, I would so buy it.
yeah, they are. They are pretty
I'd
small.
buy it. They are pretty
You know
small.
what I mean?
I mean, I do agree with that.
I feel like a dog would. Like I have so many dogs that would just try to eat it. And I'm like, oh, there goes BB-8. Huge
Oh,
design flaw.
My friends Brandon and Tiffany, good friends of mine, for Christmas they're pitching in and they're buying me the Kylo Ren Black Series lightsaber. It's the all metal one.
It's gonna
What
be so
a
cool.
douche.
I know, I'm really
I
excited.
hate you.
Yeah.
That sounds
Bring it
really
next
nice
week.
though.
You
yeah,
are the
bring it in.
worst.
I am the worst.
Everyone, look at this super cool GIF of
This is
our-
great podcasting,
of our
by the way.
babies, of our babies,
Oh.
of
Uh,
our babies Ray and
Official
Kylo.
Raylo trash
Take
going
him
on
down. Okay.
Ray low, Ray low, Ray
No,
low,
no, no.
That's
Ray
not a
low.
thing.
Ray
Are
Low.
we done?
We're Raylo trash.
Are
I
we
don't care
done?
if it's incest. No.
No.
Okay. Anyways, we're gonna be going ahead and talking about our grading scale. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Keep it non-spoilery, but also spoilers. If you, haven't seen the movie by now,
I already
If
started
you
off
have-
the show with a spoiler, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just
so
like Han
true.
Solo. I froze for a second. I'm like, I just
I'll
destroyed
put
at
it.
least.
Okay, fine. I'll put it in the tag. I'm been like super spoilers.
Super
If
spoilers.
you haven't seen it
5
by
seconds.
now, go see it because
It's
good.
your fault. You shouldn't be
Spoilers.
listening to
It's awesome.
podcasts at
But yeah,
this point.
seriously.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give this movie a 9.8 out of 10. I really loved it, but there were a couple things that I didn't like. I wanted more Hux and I wanted more Captain Phasma, and I'm sure we'll get that.
Kristen?
I agree. That it was a really great movie, but I see a lot of rehashing and a lot of bad characterization, like you said.
Wait,
So
did I say that?
well, with Hux, underplayed characters.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have more issues with that. But yeah, I definitely give it an 8 out of 10. Very great movie, but I think it was it meant for fanboys a little bit. And I have a quick question, if I may. Do you think that like the lack of Phasma action, do you think that was kind of a nod to the fact that Boba Fett actually did nothing in like the original trilogy?
My thing with Phasma is she's very present in all of the posters and
Yeah.
and all of the like
Well, the promotional
promote-
material.
yeah, the
Mhm.
promotional material, and she's hinted, the actress Gwendolyn Christie, that her and Boba Fett actually might team up in the next movie,
Dude.
which would be
Wow.
pretty dope.
That
So
would be really dope.
that would be dope because she's kind of the Boba Fett of this movie.
I am totally team Jar Jar Binks becoming Boba Fett.
And out of here.
No. Jar
This
Jar
coffee
Binks.
cup against your head.
Everyone's saying
Oh my
Plagueis.
gosh.
I'm saying Snoke. Jar Jar Binks deformed.
Yes.
Saying it.
No, no,
I
no,
heard a
no.
strange
Jar
theory.
Jar Jar.
Before we get to you, Sarah, and your
Yeah, no,
rating,
it's
I
fine.
heard a theory that it's Yoda.
I heard that
Oh.
too.
I have not heard that yet.
Because like the hologram shows he's really big,
It
but he's
kinda
actually really
makes sense.
small.
That would be hilarious if he's actually really tiny.
That'd be actually pretty dope. But Sarah, your rating?
Oh, okay.
Tristan didn't even give his rating.
Yeah.
No, he did.
Oh,
He
I did
gave
8
it
out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Oh,
8 out of 10.
shit, never
Where
mind.
were you?
I was looking at some stuff. Bye.
You're Raylo trashing over here.
I am. Dirty Raylo trash.
Okay, so
No.
I gave this film a 9 out of 10, partly because this was my first experience seeing a Star Wars film in theaters, so that magic definitely was not lost on me. However, upon my second viewing of the film and then just discussing with this group and a couple other friends, there are quite a few issues that I would love that they had solved before the fans got to see it, but that's okay. So I give it a solid 9. Cody?
Whoop. Definitely last time we recorded this, I gave you all a bullshit answer as
Yeah,
to
you
why
did.
and I think it was just because I was like, "Oh, I want to see more Phasma" because I couldn't pinpoint it. But after thinking about it a little bit more,
After countless hours of staying up at night.
after ruminating on Raylo so often, I
Raylo's
figured out that my
friend.
problem is yes, I am trash. My problem is that I wanted to see more world building, and that's something Sarah said last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because
That makes
part of
sense.
it.
because let me hint on this. Not hint. Let me just tell you. We saw less than 20 seconds of other worlds being destroyed, and I talked to Matt about this because he showed up early today, and we talked about it kind of a little bit, and we said, what is the point of showing us the other worlds being destroyed if like we didn't even know that they were a part of it?
Right.
Because it's like right now all we're seeing is First Order and Resistance. So what is it? Is it a secret war that only these two are fighting? That's my problem. Is it a
Right.
secret war or is everyone else in on it? Because on the other movies, everybody else was in on it. And so it's just these two people fighting.
Can I play a counter argument to that?
You can.
We never see Alderaan,
There's some stuff in the extended universe, but I absolutely
and
agree.
that is the first planet destroyed by the Death Star. But we understand how like big the Death Star is and like menacing, but we never see Alderaan, but we do care about Alderaan.
Yeah, exactly. But we are forced to care about Alderaan because of Princess Leia's attachment.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what we get, and we don't get this. Like, do you
That's
know the
very
names of the planets? I think it was Coruscant, right?
No,
that's the
it turned
biggest
out to
option.
not be
It was
Coruscant
the-
at all, that it was some other metropolitan planet that was home to the Resistance, the new
Republic.
Resistance.
Was the
Right.
Ilenium system where Luke was, or the system that was destroyed?
I think that
the
was
system that was destroyed.
The Ilenium
think.
system.
I thought that
Should we
was the
look
one
it
that
up?
he was hiding in.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Anyway.
Well,
So yep. So
yeah.
basically,
Oh, actually, Sarah,
Yes.
I wanted you to hear your reasons because you told us, but you didn't really elaborate on.
oh,
it.
I didn't elaborate. Sorry guys, I'm thinking you can all read all my thoughts inside my head. World building was a big one. The lack of screen time for Phasma and General Hux was another big one. Also, I felt as if this film did a very nice job of explaining to us the villain, but a villain won't have nearly as much power if you don't explain who the hero is. And so I felt that this film was slightly backwards in a way because there was so many things were focused on Kylo Ren that you didn't give enough development to Rey. There's so much about her, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, that you do not know, and that's on purpose. The studio has said that on purpose, that they are setting things up for the next couple films, which is fine, except that it felt slightly too balanced in, or the balance felt slightly tipped in Kylo's direction, and that bothered me because this franchise as a whole builds its heroes equally with its villains, and they give you not necessarily the same amount of screen time, but you know enough about them by the end of the films to feel like, you're okay with their power struggle. So that was another big point for me. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Fairly well and eloquently, if I say so.
All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and jump into, well, since we've had another whole week to kind of look up theories. I've looked up the 4 main theories for The Force Awakens. Now, once again, if you are dumb, spoilers. Big time.
And clarification, these are the 4 main theories about who Rey is and what's her place in this new universe.
I regret to inform you all that we will not be going over the Jar Jar theory, but if we were to,
If
it
we
would
were
be
to.
he's Snoke. He's Snoke.
Matt wants to kill all of us. Matt hates this theory so much.
Jar
And it's
Jar
funny.
is life.
Damn it.
Jar Jar is the
I'd
only
rather
way.
Kylo Ren be Jar Jar than have
Yes.
Kylo trash.
No.
Okay, I
Yeah.
actually don't agree with you.
I would
on
rather
that.
be Raylo trash than Jar Jar
It's just
trash.
because I don't
am
want them to
proud
win
to be
this.
Raylo
Oh.
trash.
Okay, well then I'll
Yeah.
take
That's the
your
name
side.
of this episode. Is
Raylo trash.
It's awful.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the theories just really quickly. I'm not gonna give you the percentage points because the percentage.
Oh,
part
by
of
the
it
way,
is
Raylo trash means that we ship Kylo Ren and Rey, even though they're
most likely gonna be
brother and
siblings.
sister. Yeah.
Most likely. Theory 1 is that Rey is Luke's daughter. Bleh, I don't like that theory. Theory 2 is that Rey is Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter. Most likely, unlikely.
We'll see. We'll see.
Theory 3 is that Rey is Han and Leia's daughter, and theory 4 is that Rey is somebody new entirely.
I will find that interesting.
It's like the problem is like if we're training up if the whole idea was that we're supposed to be training up a new generation of Jedi, then shouldn't there be other Force users that aren't Skywalkers? Because oh wow, they need to stop. All of them, all the Skywalkers need to stop.
Mm.
No, I think Star Wars is a pretty goddamn simple story, and like we know what's coming. Like everything that we saw was super predictable.
If she's an entirely new character, let's go through the theories one by one, but I want to just like discredit that last one really quickly, because if she's just a brand new character, that kind of totally ruins Finn's character. Finn is that one guy who doesn't have a destiny, who's kind of like, this is all dumb. I want to get out of here. That's who Finn character is, and that's why he's just another character. That could be any one of us in
Right.
this Star Wars universe. He's not predestined to become the hero. He really doesn't want to be in the middle of any of this, but he has to. He's kind of like Han Solo.
Right.
Han Solo's like, the Force is stupid, all that kind of stuff. We need a character like that to just acknowledge the stupidity of the situation, even though it's a grand story.
Right.
The situation itself is kind of like, I don't want to be a part of this. Who would want to be a part of that?
Right.
And to jump on that, also, like you said, Matt, so much of it was so obvious. It felt like right in your face. Rey, we find her on a outer rim desert planet. She's wearing desert gear, kind of like Luke Skywalker. And there's so many little things that were in your face, and they were familiar for those of us who were already had grown up on the original series, and we know Luke's trajectory. We see him walking, across Tatooine, and then there's the 2 twin suns that come up. Like Rey has her own little shot with the sun and all of that kind of stuff. So to me, to make her a new character, it would be like, well, if you're gonna make her completely new, why throw in all of
These
those old
homages.
exactly?
Unless
It's to
she is
trick us.
unless it's to trick you, number one, or it's to because like we were watching the movie. Matt, Sarah, and I saw the movie last week, and I said when the ground split between Kylo and Rey at the final battle, I was like metaphor. I
Yes, she
literally
did.
said that metaphor, and the problem with that is like you can have them like be related, but the problem is like what if we're trying to show Rey that she has the heart of Luke? She has somebody who has the same mindset of Luke. She doesn't have to be related to him.
I think we're reading way too deep.
I also
into
enjoy
it.
that for the Obi-Wan theory, but let's go through the theories in order. Let's go
Okay,
through
well,
theory
that's-
one.
yeah.
Well, theory one, I mean, if you want to talk about Rey
Yeah.
being Luke's daughter,
Yeah.
I just don't think it's true. We were just
Why?
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 I just don't.
It doesn't
Well,
make sense.
It doesn't make
Why?
sense. It doesn't.
The Sky.
Aside from the fact that Jedi aren't supposed to have kids, why doesn't it make sense?
It doesn't make sense because here's the thing: Luke, very much like we're gonna do Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi because they're both Jedi.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
that's
both
fine.
the least.
Yeah.
It's the least amount of it being possible. Luke and Obi-Wan both took their commitment to the Jedi seriously, and if we're holding true to the Jedi theory that that you can't have kids and you can't be in a relationship, they both know the consequences of seeing Jedi kind of delve into that area. So I feel like Luke would be too true to his Jedi ways to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna have a kid."
I also I understand where you come from that, but that's why I kind of don't want to believe the Obi-Wan kind of thing. But when it comes to Luke, I feel like there's a new Jedi Order. He understands. I think I'm not sure if he ever knew like the consequences of Darth Vader's relationship. Anakin, did he ever kind of learn about?
I
Padme
don't.
and
I
stuff
don't
like that?
know if we see anything canon in actual film. Like
No,
space.
no. I'm wondering if
Like, did
Luke
anybody tell
Skywalker,
him?
ever tell him that? Oh, by the way, the reason why your dad went to the dark side is because he.
I think
thought
it's
he was it.
implied.
I
It's
think it's
implied that he has
implied,
some knowledge of
yeah.
it. Well, if he does, I think what we're seeing here. I said this earlier is we're seeing new orders of the dark side and the light side.
Yeah.
I'm saying the Knights of Ren are all. I think they're dark side. You say they're Sith worshippers, which I understand, but I think they're taking new approaches of the order.
Right.
The light side necessarily doesn't mean you can't attach relationships to. That was the old Jedi Order's way of doing it. So I think it's very possible for Luke to try to settle down, have a family. There's very few, force sensitive people out there that haven't been wiped out by the Empire. So I think it's important to get busy.
Exactly, and I totally understand that. But I think realistically, one of the reasons why none of us found it super possible, or not possible, the reason I don't think it can either be Obi-Wan. It could be Obi-Wan, but it can't be Luke's daughter because if you're gonna make it Luke's daughter, you set up the next movie for Rey and Luke to be together and be like have like a fireside conversation of
Yeah.
oh by
it's
the
just
way
not an
I'm your
interesting
dad.
Story.
Like just have a fireside conversation. Oh, hey, I'm your dad. Like here's the thing. If that was the plan, movie 7 has bungled that. They have total bungled that. It means like they've dropped the ball. Like if that was your plan to make her his daughter, you've dropped the ball because like what's that? What are you gonna shout? We're cousins. We are cousins. No, I think the theory now I've had time to think about it of the Rey being Leia and Han's daughter is so much better because it's just like the whole theory about that is
Also, it's so obvious.
it's like thinking about it more, it kind of is super obvious because it's like we're cousins. No, you're my sister. Like they're fighting. Like that's gonna be the big confrontation. Is of you're my brother. We're related. Fun fact. Tristan.
I understand. I get what you're saying, but the big thing wouldn't be him going, we're cousins. They would kind of just learn that. I think the big thing would be Luke Skywalker saying, I am your father.
Oh,
I don't want that.
I don't want that
Oh,
either, but I think that's what
fan
they're going
service.
for. I think
would
that's
walk
what they're
out of
going
the
for.
theater if
I
they
wouldn't.
said
I'd just be like,
I kind of
come
was hoping Jar Jar
on.
Binks would pop up, so Matt would just be like, "I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Just-
getting out."
Just like he was actually force sensitive.
all
the
of
whole time.
all of you, kill yourself.
No.
No.
No, I agree.
Jar Jar for life. But I like what you're saying, but I think it's very possible for them to have a kid. And, I don't think they have to all be related. It kind of makes the story more personal. And I think that kind of like drags me out of it. That's why I like characters like Finn or like Poe Dameron. They're just guys in this shitty situation. They weren't predestined. Also, do you guys think it's interesting how like the lightsaber was from Anakin to Luke and now it's to Rey, so that implies that she is a Skywalker, obviously. Similar homages of like
Yeah.
shots and framing to backstory, both
Yep.
on desert planets and stuff like
I
that.
find it interesting.
But isn't it kind of weird that like you think in the first or second movie, like, or maybe it's the extended universe, I'm not entirely sure, but lightsabers are supposed to be for one wielder, just like one person.
Right,
Like-
but the problem with, well, I
Okay,
guess that's where
well,
the sky. Yeah.
As someone who makes lightsabers,
Mhm.
I do.
Fun fact, Matt
I've
makes
studied-
He travels to
lightsabers.
the
Matt
planet.
made Kylo Ren's janky ass
Yeah,
lightsaber. It's
I've
a fun
studied
fact.
the history of lightsabers.
He was a little drunk.
The only people who are able to make lightsabers are Force users because the mechanics of lightsabers don't work if you don't have the Force. You have to put things together in a certain order. Everything is based around the crystal. So, Anakin, no, Obi-Wan made his specifically for his talents and his fighting ability. So it has certain things, just like Darth Vader. Darth Vader's is made to interrupt other people's force lightsaber beams. Like if you notice it,
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
every time he holds it, everyone else's lightsaber kind of
Yeah.
feels a
Oh
little wobbly.
yeah.
that's why
Oh.
he has that. So, yes, they're made to be personalized, but that doesn't necessarily
only
mean
have
they're
one wielder.
destined.
Because Han Solo kind of used it once to cut open a tauntaun or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the only person whose hand hasn't been chopped off using that lightsaber. If I was Rey, I'd toss that thing in a lake.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but you
fuck
can
this.
correct me if I'm wrong on a lot of that, people. But
Correct us nicely.
correct us nicely.
This is
Yeah.
a very loving
Nobody-
environment.
This is not a safe space. This is a space so that you guys can get some knowledge.
Oh yeah. Also, give us a little hate. A little hate's not bad.
Just a little bit hate means you like us. So one of the biggest theories that we're going to jump into, because it's looking like it's going to be the more prevalent theory, is the Han and Leia theory, and that's actually the one that has the most evidence.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. But we didn't really go over the Obi-Wan one.
Well, there's no what evidence.
I'm honestly getting
I
real
actually-
sick of these theories.
I know it's been
You
a
guys
couple
like the
weeks,
Kylo
guys.
trash one. All right. Anyways, I was
Okay,
gonna say that she has an
ma'am.
uncanny ability to use the mind wipe tricks. I
Yes.
get most of my information from Mr. Sunday Movies. He's one of my favorite podcasters. But she has an uncanny ability, and most Jedi's can use this ability. But like Qui-Gon Jinn and stuff like that, they've used
So
it.
does Kylo.
Exactly, but they're less effective. But Obi-Wan had this uncanny ability to use it, and it almost worked every time. Not every Jedi or Sith could do that. So that makes good sense. It also makes sense. We don't know what happened to Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor solo movie. I'm totally asking for it.
Absolutely.
And what if he just started a family? He had like a romantic life
I
in
think
the
he had
extended
two,
universe.
actually.
He died.
Yeah,
Which I
but
think,
before that, there's
yeah.
like 40 years MIA.
I don't think.
I think it's like 20, 30.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
just really quick, I found this on Reddit.
Very
The
credible.
fact that Obi-Wan fathered a child would be something that you would want classified. And I think that comes up quite a bit with Rey. We hear, from several different characters about, people ask, who is she? Why is she here? And she's like, oh, I'm waiting for my family. Well, who is she waiting for? Well, and then when she goes to Maz's castle and Maz, says that the lightsaber should be for her, it almost feels like maybe, okay, well, that would be a connection to Luke. But I think the thing I'm half reading this, so I apologize. When Maz says that the lightsaber belonged to Luke, if Maz knew who Rey was, why wouldn't she say that it belonged to your father? And why does Rey refer to Luke and not her father? Maybe to her, Luke is just Luke, which would fit into the Obi-Wan theory.
But it also fits into the our theory.
Yeah, the hunt.
And
She's
there's
still a
that too.
Skywalker
Yeah.
in that sense. That's why I don't like the Luke theory so much, but I do like the Obi-Wan for a variety of reasons. Also, how great would it be? It's kind of a reversal. It's like a mirror. Basically, they both look up to their grandfathers.
Yeah.
If Rey looked to her grandfather Obi-Wan, who trained Kylo's grandfather Darth Vader,
Right.
it'd be kind of like a second generation.
I'd be
sort of
fine
thing.
if she was if Rey was Obi-Wan's granddaughter.
That's what we're saying. Granddaughter.
I'd be
Just to
okay with
clarify,
that.
yeah, we
granddaughter.
forgot to say that granddaughter.
I'd be fine with that, but I think their
Perhaps that
brother
her
and-
parents were pupils of Anakin Skywalker.
I do need to say one thing.
Sure, go
Sure.
for it.
It's reading a little too deep into it, but look at the ship that dropped her off. It is not an Empire ship. It is not a starfighter.
I honestly don't remember it. I just remember
It
seeing
is
No, I
a
do.
smuggler ship.
Yeah,
Han Solo.
I don't think Han Solo would have dropped it off though.
that's a high five.
That's what I'm saying.
But
If
he
she
could've-
was dropped
he-
off,
Go
that's
ahead.
enough for the Obi-Wan theory.
Team Raylo trash.
He could have
yes.
dropped her off, but that doesn't mean that she's his kid.
Maybe they
Why
did it
wouldn't
for
you?
Luke. Or
Because
something
he's
like
the
that.
best smuggler in the galaxy. Who else would you
Yeah,
want?
who
to
else would
take
you
your
hire to
kid
do that?
To hide her from Kylo, which I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit too.
But I think we need to move on.
Okay, absolutely.
sure.
I want to say what was the last thing? It was moving on, but perhaps if to go with the Han Solo and Leia thing, I feel like if Luke sensed that, he would mind wipe also the Leia and Solo
and
to
that's what we're
take care of her.
This is what we're going to get into
Okay.
right now,
That's
because
what I
this
think.
theory mostly supports the Han and Leia's daughter theory, but
Mhm.
we can also talk about how these other theories support the other four. I vaguely talked about this with Matt before earlier today. Why Rey being left on Jakku? Now this is from Tumblr. This is part of Tumblr from Not Throwing Away My Fairy Tale, and also Rey Solo Walker's Tumblr. These are all theories that they both have co-created.
Check them out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very cool. Very cool. I loved it. Rey Solo Walker's theory was about Rey being left on Jakku. I don't care how desperate the parent was. There's no way they couldn't have found someone more suitable to look after her. This to me looks like something that a stupid, panicking teenage boy would do who is in way over his head. Now, the support from the Not Throwing Away My Fairy Tales Tumblr was, this is and I quote, "This is spot on because we've seen children being left in desperate situations before. In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan and Yoda thought rationally about where to put the Skywalker twins, leaving them both hidden, but in the care of people they knew who would look after them and raise them. Being left in the care of trusted families, people Senator Organa and Ben Lars. You would think that with such a trend would continue if it was really her parents that left her on Jakku. Why not leave her with a family member or other responsible adult? Literally anyone except a space gangster whose care she was certain to become an indentured servant for.
Good point. I never thought
Yeah.
about that. Sounds like a solo thing.
Exactly. Well, and if it's a solo ship, that's why I high five.
Yeah.
That you heard like a here again.
It didn't
You
really
heard that
look
high
like.
five because that's
Oh,
what we
he
said.
doesn't
That.
have the Falcon.
No.
No.
Remember, he
But
lost
that's why
it.
that theory works.
But I feel like if he went to that planet, he would have like.
He would've
If he was
remembered.
looking everywhere, he'd be like, maybe the Falcon was on that planet. I
Also,
dropped
Han
Jakku."
Han
Oh, no,
Solo's not the most sensitive father, so like he'd drop her off there to like grow her up as like a real person, not like baby.
Actually, I disagree entirely
well,
with
there's
that.
actually another theory that revolves around that.
The
But
way he like treated Ren in his final moments, I think that
Ray?
no
Ray.
Ren,
Ben.
oh,
Ben.
Kylo, oh Ben.
Kylo, Ren,
Okay.
Ben
Ren.
Solo. Yeah.
Ben Solo. Sorry,
That's okay.
he's a mixture of Ben Skywalker and Jason Solo, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I was like straight up. I was like,
straight up.
yeah,
But the problem,
I love it.
It's
It's
not even
awesome.
it's not even really a problem. But that was what we were talking about. Was that if that was a smuggler ship that she was left on, then and also mind you, sorry, I totally forgot. Remember that the smuggler stole it from somebody else. So we're assuming right now that she's 5-ish, so like 15 odd years later, that the smuggler stole it from the guy who stole it from him beforehand. That's probably why it may not have been on the planet when he dropped her off.
Say that one more time.
Remember in the film where Ray is explaining to Han about who stole it? He said, "That's why do you have my ship?" Well,
Yeah.
the smuggler had it. The smuggler stole it from I don't remember his name. Stole it from somebody else.
Dakin.
And that yeah,
Yeah.
and then Dakin stole it from Solo. So it could be still in that other guy's hands before it got to the planet when he dropped her off.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. What else
So
about that theory?
so then okay, so we have Rey is a supposed Padawan that had some sort of relationship with Ben and Kylo. How or why? Anyone want to go on to that?
Stupid. Next one.
Okay, bye.
Okay. I liked it.
Something that's bothering me though is that fuck it, I'm just gonna read it from here. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Oopsie.
As far as fan theories go, though, don't mean to go on a tangent. These are fairly good ones. Have you heard the one for Batman vs Superman?
No, I haven't.
It's awful. I hate it so much.
Hold on.
Well,
Pause on Star Wars. I want to hear this.
This theory, I'm sure it's the Deathstroke theory.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ben Affleck's Batman is actually Deathstroke, who, quotation marks, killed Batman and is now taking over Batman's mantle for a while.
That would be sick.
And then Christian Bale's Batman is going to come back and kill him.
Dude, that'd
Yes,
be
please.
sick.
No, that's awful.
Like, it's awful, but that would be kind of
I could kind of
Get
see
rid
Ben
of
Affleck as a
Batfleck.
Wade. No, I like Batfleck.
No.
I can
no.
see it.
But the problem with that is, oh wait, no,
He's
I'm
also
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm
Alfred.
sorry.
I say Alfred's the problem with that.
No, Alfred.
He
is
also
Jeremy
has his
Irons.
own kind of Alfred though, Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Does, so that could.
Well, I
Yeah.
heard Deathstroke's gonna be in Suicide Squad.
Okay, back to Star Wars. Just want to
Okay.
say, like,
Star
as far
Wars.
as fan theories go, these ones
We're
are kind of enjoyable.
we are recording another podcast right after this. That's
and we're
gonna
gonna be talking about the new stuff we found out
Yeah.
for Marvel, DC.
Maybe we'll go deeper into that.
Yeah, we
will.
should.
We will for sure. The next theory that we have is that why is there if she is Han and Leia's daughter, why is there no mention of a daughter from from Ray Solo Walker's Tumblr? Granted, I know a sister is unlikely at this point since it doesn't sound like Han and Leia lost a daughter when they lost their son. It was never 100% ruled out. So for all we know, they just didn't have a reason to mention a daughter who they firmly believe died 15 years ago while still at the academy. The pressing issue on their minds in this movie is their son who is still alive.
My objection to that is that Leia is force sensitive,
Yeah.
and so she would know.
She kind
That
of.
would, and that's what I was gonna say, and that's what he said to me. And you know what I said to him? That makes the hugging scene. Leia has never met Rey before, and they hug each other because they know.
And Chewbacca just walks right by.
Exactly.
Just saw his like greatest friend die, and her like ex-husband. He's just like, fuck all y'all.
Exactly.
Go
So
back.
why hug Rey? Why out of everyone you've never met somebody before? She didn't know how important Han was to Rey, so they hug each other. That makes that hugging scene so much
Also,
better.
she knows how to pilot the damn Millennium Falcon.
And there was
like
a quote-
no one's business.
There was a quote that Han Solo ran that ship more on instinct than he did on skill, anyways.
But
I need to see
being
that
a
quote.
super fabulous
the
space
movie.
pilot was not simply a Han Solo thing. That's also an Anakin Skywalker and a Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker
pilot,
thing.
very
Fair,
piloting.
fair.
Everyone's
Fair, it's fair,
everyone
it's fair.
is the best pilot in the universe.
Yes, no.
but
Yes.
something important that Kylo Ren says is when he's reading. Oh, two things I want to say.
Yeah.
When he's reading Rey's mind, he says, "An island. I see it too.
An island.
Yeah,
I
he
thought you
says
said
that.
don't be
Luke
afraid.
Skywalker is on that island in the ocean,
Yes.
so he sees Luke Skywalker in her
I
head.
noticed that the second time we watched the movie in Island, I see it too.
Also, what
Yeah.
he says is, Han Solo, the father you never had, he'd disappoint you. Like he disappointed him. He's saying that as in like he's your dad. Basically.
I didn't take that as a he's your dad
No.
thing. I took that more of as like you have been alone for so long. You're looking for somebody to mentor you in any way, shape, or form. So Han Solo seems like he would be, this is her first kind of meet up with somebody who's actually not only being nice to her, but just kind of, helping her out a little bit. That seems like somebody she would latch onto. Kylo is telling her now, he's not who you think he is. Like, give up on that.
Then who is
Ooh,
he?
Yes, I see that.
So then who is?
no, he's a
Han Solo.
smuggler.
He's
But he's a good guy.
but Kylo doesn't think
Kylo
so.
doesn't think that.
Kylo's wrong though.
We know Kylo's wrong, but Rey
Okay, it doesn't
know
matter.
that. Yeah.
You guys keep recording. I'm gonna go pee. Don't pause it.
Everyone, Matt's
Just
going
keep
pee.
talking.
Did you guys get all that? Let us know how it
Okay.
goes.
Anyway, what was Cody? Did you have something you were gonna?
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Well,
Okay.
I'm actually gonna elaborate on this since we have already talked to him a little bit about this.
Okay. Yeah. No. Go for it.
Okay, so something that bothered me in the beginning is why Han and Leia, the Star Wars equivalent of true love, would split up over their son turning to the dark side.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Okay, so now this is what
Not the worst writing. Makes sense.
No,
it
this
makes
is
sense,
what
but it just feels
Some people
like
break up because their kid goes
Okay,
gay.
Okay, here you go. So this is what the not throwing away my fairy tale Tumblr girl or man or whatever, non-binary, said. Because just what she's saying, they're the Star Wars equivalent of true love would split over their son turning to the dark side. You think that this is something that would bring them closer, a united effort to pull their son back into the light. But what if it wasn't just their son that they lost? What if in there they lost their daughter, who they would have also sent to Luke's academy in quotes, and they not only lost her, but they would believe that she died as a result of their son. That would only be an overwhelming grief, perhaps the type of grief that they both handled in their separate ways. It would also make sense as to why Luke pulled such a drastic move by dropping off the face of the galaxy, because he would feel responsible for their grief, for the loss of his niece to death and his nephew to the dark side. It would also explain why Rey seems to know the Millennium Falcon on an instinctual level. Didn't they always say that Han flew the Falcon more on instinct than skill? That would be something that he might pass on to his daughter? Maybe, possibly. Also, it might explain his immediate attachment to her.
Okay, I understand where that theory is coming from, and that makes a lot of sense. However, because excellent piloting and navigational skills runs in the family and not just from Han, I still disagree with that.
Absolutely,
and I also
yeah.
feel like to simply make it be that Han and Leia had 2 kids and not just the one, I don't know. I feel like that's too much extended universe.
And they're also kind of like a big age
Right.
difference. I want to say that
Yeah.
the age difference is kind of big, so she'd be like 3 at that Jedi Academy, which
Right.
is
Which makes time logic sense, even if they're not related. Even if she is Luke's
she'd
supposed
be, like,
daughter.
just starting though.
Exactly,
And how much of the
but
Falcon would
Padawans,
she
I
remember?
peed. I feel so much better.
guys. Oh my.
Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I'm still on the note. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Sorry, you baffled me.
We were
Matt.
talking
Sorry
about
there,
the
buddy.
pilots.
Right, you were telling me that she offered Han offered her a job, right?
Luke.
No, but it's his immediate attachment to her.
Oh yeah,
That's-
but yeah, I mean, all that attachment, he got just as equally attached
To
to
Luke.
Skywalker.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And now here's the thing, that this is a theory for the Rey or for the Han and Leia's daughter, but these also many theories could be taken for any
It-
other theory.
It's basically, it can be taken in any direction.
It can be
you want it to
plugged
be.
into anything.
Are we ready to move on from these theories?
Would you like to?
We're
Yeah,
almost done.
I really would because like I'm kind of sick of it.
Oh well, what else do we
Then
want
you
to talk
should just
about?
like get off the internet until the next movie.
A whole
Rogue
year and a
One.
half?
Okay, I think the one thing that
Oh, yeah.
I think the most important thing. So we're gonna round
don't
up.
care about
We're
Rogue
gonna
One?
I don't care about Rogue One.
we're gonna.
I don't think
we're
we
gonna,
care yet.
No,
I think
we're,
we
Everyone
will care.
dies.
we're gonna talk about. We're gonna finish up these theory things so we can finish up. I think one of the most important things from not throwing away my fairy tales Tumblr was, even as badly injured as Kylo was, he was winning that fight and he had her on the ropes. Can we all agree on that? He was
Kylo
a-
had Rey on the ropes.
I don't agree.
No, actually, no.
I don't
I
agree.
want to see
at
that
all.
again. I mean,
Not towards the end.
Not
when
towards the
she,
end.
Not
like,
towards the
got
end.
But
Eye
he
of
At
the
the
did-
Tiger.
beginning, sure.
But
Towards
no,
the
when
end,
she was okay, this is what I'm saying, because she was on that cliff. She was on that cliff. He could have easily pushed her off or killed her.
But
easily.
she, two things I'll say to argue that. He wasn't trying to kill her.
Yeah.
He was testing her,
Mm-hmm.
her force power, because he said, why would he kill someone who he would say to, you need a teacher?
Well, that's what we're getting into.
Second
yeah.
of all,
Hmm.
she felt the force thing when all Eye of the Tiger on him and kicked his ass.
All
She
right, now,
did
now
kick
let
his
me
ass.
explain. Like, I kind of, like at that part, I was just like, okay, it makes absolutely no sense. He's been trained so well over so many years by Snoke or whatnot,
And
this
Luke.
fight, and
Yeah.
Luke. This makes absolutely no sense that this brand new Jedi is like kicking ass. And what it took me a second to realize, the title's The Force Awakens. Now the Force flows through everything, but now I think it's finally found another channel. If you like open a floodgate, it pours through.
Yeah.
I think the Force is literally like surging through her. I think that she, as
Like
a direct,
Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
exactly like that. I think she has direct communication with Obi-Wan, Luke, and I think that's how she like
Well, that's how
held
she can,
herself
that's she
up
can
so well.
push back into Ben's mind easily. Because
Yeah.
even if they're not
Mhm.
related, there's
She's-
there's something.
There's some
Yeah.
sort of connection.
I think the last thing I want to talk about, because this is the theory that I made, and
Yes,
I'm so
yes, let's hear
excited,
it.
and I know you hate it.
You
Matt,
made
but
a
it's
theory.
so
I wanna
funny.
hear-
Yeah, let's
I
hear
made
it.
a
This is
theory.
a Tuesday Crusader
Is it a
exclusive
Jar Jar
theory.
Binks thing?
No, it's better than that.
Then
and
I
there
don't
is-
give a shit.
I can guarantee you there is 0% chance of Jar Jar Binks.
I'm in.
He died on Coruscant.
He died.
I'm in like Flynn.
Okay, so this is
That's an Ant-Man
from
reference.
people who've seen the movie. I'm sure you can plug in the blank spaces. So the theory that I made. Oh god, now I feel
Watto's
like being
revenge.
judged. I feel
No,
like everyone's
go
gonna
for
judge
it,
me.
go
Okay,
for it.
so let me finish before anyone gets crazy. Hold on to your thoughts. My first theory here is that Luke mind wipes Ben during the fight to leave the Jedi Academy when he goes to leave to the dark side. Now I put dark side in quotation marks because Ben leaves the Jedi Academy to go to the dark side in quotes. He trains more with the Knights of Ren. He becomes the leader. The Knights. My theory then is that the Knights of Ren come back to end all of the Jedi. That would make sense with the Knights of Ren in the flashback with the lightsaber and Rey and the lightsaber, or whatever. They all kill the Padawans. Either Ben or some of the other knights keep Rey alive, as she is the best / most talented Padawan, and for either leverage against Kylo, if that is their sister, and if they know that's her sister, or as a backup plan for an extra Jedi that they might need for the
I
dark side.
support that.
Wow, that makes a lot of
I
sense.
support that.
definitely
Wait, why would I
different.
hate that?
Well, no, I didn't say you hate. I said I feel like you guys are going to hate it.
No, that
No,
makes
that's
total
so-
sense.
Kind of fresh.
That's
fresh.
That's pretty
Well,
damn
because, like,
solid.
and I
That's
wrote
pretty damn
I wrote
solid.
explanation for it, and it's very short because I know you don't want to get on this anymore. But I think because he becomes, Ben, leader of the Knights of Ren.
Mhm.
So here's the thing: if we're making the and you brought up earlier, if we're making the idea that Rey is much younger when Ben leaves the Jedi
10
Academy,
years younger.
Yeah.
like much younger,
The
like
Knights of Ren would definitely leave a girl on a planet like that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Knights of Ren would definitely leave a girl on a planet like that. And I think Luke mind wipes. And here's the thing: I think that Luke, in the ending scene of the movie, it's more palatable for me that he looks at her like maybe not as a daughter, but as a, oh my god, you're still alive, and also your best friend just died. Fun fact.
Right.
To discover like what like his like I think that was like honestly the best acting that Han Solo is.
No,
the Harrison Ford best, but
I
like
saw
second
Han
best
Solo.
is honestly like that is incredible. That the
I'll
look in
argue
his
that
face.
Rey.
Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she wasn't good. I just don't think she is the most talented. I'd say I'm
Harrison
not gonna
Ford
argue.
stole
this.
Okay,
the
you
show.
can't.
Harrison
You
Ford
cannot
stole the show.
compare a legacy player to a newcomer. Though.
No, I can though, because
Yeah.
like Harrison
That's like
Ford,
telling
has-
a fish to
it's
climb
like
a tree.
Bruce Willis has been playing Bruce Willis. Once you get to a certain stage in your acting career, you play
No, I'll
you.
agree with you. He did
Harrison
not play
Ford did not play Harrison Ford.
Oh,
he
no,
did not
he-
play Indiana Jones. He did not play The Present. He did not play The Fugitive. He played.
He played
Motherfucking
more,
Han Solo.
He played
This is
more Han
wonderful.
Solo than he's ever played Han Solo.
I just, I
Absolutely.
mean, I
Mhm.
agree. I don't. I just, yeah.
I know.
You're right.
I get you. I get you.
I think that just to finish up, I think my theory that this whole theory that plugs into is that Luke is either forced to or he mind wipes Rey to make her forget about the Jedi, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi, and then he has to mind wipe a still in training Ben before he leaves to forget he had a sister. Hold on. It's on the next page. I put Luke wipes Ben to save Rey. Luke mind wipes Ben to save Rey from Kylo Ren. Ben wipes Rey to save her from death / dark side, and I don't know. And basically, I feel like it's like a cascading thing of mind wipes.
It could
yeah.
be.
Yeah, that's
Which-
a lot. I liked it. I
'cause-
liked it,
yeah.
and that's just too many mind wipes for me. at that point.
Exactly. It's like
That's too
Luke
many.
Luke mind wipes Ben Luke
Just
mind
think,
wipes
can you-
Rey, and then Ben
Here's how you
does
know.
it again.
That's how you know it's not going to work. Can you explain that to a friend who's never watched Star Wars?
Oh hell no!
All right.
It doesn't work.
All right, so before we wrap up on this Star Wars podcast here, one thing that we all want to see in this trilogy for sure.
Okay. All right. May I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, straight up. One of my biggest problems was the characterization of this movie, which it's not a fan theory what I'm going to say, but it's just what I need to see in the trilogy. I need to see Luke with a plan. Him sitting on an island waiting for help is not a plan for me.
I really wanted Luke to be like, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, that would have been perfect.
That's
Oh,
maybe
fucking
that's the
amazing.
extended.
Like, I
version.
love
And
it
then
when a
it just-
plan comes
It just
together.
ends on the A-Team soundtrack. Dun, 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 dun. That's amazing, but no.
I stole that joke from my friend, but that's still like
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
It's fine.
So good.
Shout out to your friend, whoever the fuck he is. He's a genius.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was like, God damn it.
I
That's
gotta
perfect.
use that. But exactly, like that's my problem. I think what we're gonna see is I was talking about new orders and stuff, new Sith, new Jedi. What I'm saying is I think these aren't like Jedis that are like, yeah, Darth Maul, he's got a dick. I'm gonna chop him in half. Because the Jedis were like peaceful, but they also had no fucking problem mauling a person.
You know what scene? Really quickly. You know what scene I saw? Today I was looking just like at some old clips. Deleted scene clip from I'm not entirely sure Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, where
They're
Oh.
fucking.
no, what's the
That's
droid?
my-
What's the dude?
They're
Darth
blowing
Maul?
each other.
General Grievous.
No, the
Dooku?
Nerd.
yeah,
Oh,
the robot one. Wait,
That's
No, that's
Grievous.
Grievous.
sorry.
God damn it.
The
No.
prequels don't matter.
Yes, they do. Okay.
Okay, so General Grievous, when he there's a scene where he kills a Jedi right in front of Anakin,
Yeah,
and,
Yeah.
Shakti.
and they don't give a single fuck.
She dies in 4 different ways. Actually, there's 3
I-
deleted scenes.
Oh,
how she
I
dies
the
in.
know.
Twilight
Yeah.
girl?
Shocked. No, she's not the Twyla.
Twilight.
No, she's not Twi'lek. She's the other one. She's like Ahsoka.
Oh,
I forget what race
she's
that is.
Twi'lek.
No, Twi'lek is freaking Ayla Securla.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
but like she
How do I
gets
know
killed
that?
in front of them, and then like they are sad for like a millisecond, and then they just disappear.
Shakti,
All right.
guys. Oh,
All
that's
right,
upsetting.
Sarah,
Yeah.
what's a scene you want to see?
Scene I want to see.
Fanboy scene you want to see?
Ooh, I really want to know who Snoke is. I really want to know.
That's a good one.
I want to know who he is. I want to know how big he is. Is he actually like some teeny tiny guy like Yoda, or is he really like 40 feet tall?
Be so great if he's like 4 centimeters
Yeah.
big.
Yes.
I think I could see like a 7-footed guy. I thought he was kind of like Kaminoan, like the comedian.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I actually didn't get to my part. I want to see Luke Skywalker training Jedi. I want to see pacifist though. I think in the movie he didn't kill Vader or the Emperor. So I think he's like the best way to solve a problem is not to kill. I think that's going to be his approach, and that's why he didn't kill Kylo Ren, because I think he has the full skill to kick the shit out of Kylo Ren.
course he
Just
does.
that's my opinion, and that's why he didn't.
Right on.
Oh, by the way, in the ending scene, you guys all saw that Kylo Ren's lightsaber got like messed up, right?
Did
Yes.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
got an
Gotta-
identical scar to Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, and where his dad touched his face.
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. I want to see something, and that's my scene, by the way. I want to see angsty Kylo Ren, and I want to see that lightsaber explode because you know it's on its way. You know it's happening.
Does anyone have real quick? Could we do their favorite moment from this film?
Sure.
We could,
after.
but
Let's
let's-
Matt, go ahead.
Cody, you didn't get to go.
I did that. No, I want to see that. My future scene that I want to see is something about his face and then angsty Kylo Ren.
Something that I really want to see.
Daisy Ridley in a bikini?
Oh no!
Oh, boy. Um,
Hey, no!
Well,
Only
I-
Kylo Ren gets to see that.
I want to see. I want to see my all-time Star Wars scene. I want to see is a okay.
We're waiting.
Is a wide shot of Tatooine. The sun is
Oh.
setting, and we pan to the Sarlacc pit gurgling. A slow pan in, and you see a worn hand Mandalorian glove pull itself from the briny deep of the Sarlacc pit, and then like a mask comes up that's all damaged, glowing, and you see Boba Fett.
Okay, all right. That's you get that. That's awful, but at the same time, there's nothing more I want to see than that
That's
exactly
awesome.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
I just wanted to say in the background, Hasbro.
Yeah, Hasbro. And then above him, I want Dengar to be.
Ooh.
Dengar?
Because Dengar nurses him back to health.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they
And
become
it-
friends.
Dengar's the one that's covered in toilet paper.
Yeah.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
down.
So,
Oh no.
all right, we're wrapping it up.
I was
for
always
this
more of a
episode?
Bosk.
No. Well, he
Bosk is
wanted
pretty
to talk
damn dope.
about. We're at 45 minutes. 45 minutes. He
Yeah,
wanted
we're
to
not
t-
doing bad on time.
He wanted to talk about our favorite scene in the movie. Period.
Let's do favorite scene of the movie, then let's wrap up this episode.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
Sarah?
So,
Favorite scene in this film. Would have to be. I have two. It would either be when R2D2 finally woke up, because I have major R2D2 feels. He's incredibly awesome. And then the other favorite scene was when Rey and Finn are trying to fix the Millennium Falcon so that the poisonous gas doesn't get out, and she's like, "Nope, not that one, not that one. Look at me, that one."
the
It's
one I'm
just-
pointing at.
Yeah, the one I'm pointing
see,
at. That
actually, I
was
didn't
just,
like that. I think you
I
and I were talking
loved
about that. That's
that.
too Abrams for me.
I'm
That whole,
okay
the
with
whole,
that. I'm more okay with
Tristan,
thing.
what's your favorite?
Favorite. Chewbacca shooting Kylo Ren in the dick.
Yes.
That was pretty great.
Just he just
Oh.
went. That's the most beast we've ever seen out of Chewbacca.
He-
Just killed like 30 stormtrooper kill streak. He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
Shoots him right in
Just
the dick.
fucks right off.
Oh my
Like I
Oh,
honestly like
yeah.
that's why I don't think Kylo Trash could work because I don't think Kylo's got a
Oh
dick.
my
Oh
God.
no, Kylo Ren is my little baby nugget, and he is the best.
Doesn't have a dick.
Oh,
I don't know if we mentioned that Kylo Ren is your best friend's. He's the best friend's older brother that you have a crush on, who's in a trash band.
and
with,
by,
like,
by the way, the
swoopy
trash
hair.
man, and
And he's like 17.
and he lives in the middle of Connecticut, and he
Yeah.
thinks that's gonna be his whole life, and he's
but he's not
third-
even the front man
Yeah,
of the
he's like a-
band.
he's like a
the
bassist.
bassist.
and he has like a large swoopy bang over half of his face, and he's like 40 years from now, and he looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
But he
Favorite
has no
scene,
dick.
Cody?
Huh? Oh, my favorite scene. I loved. Raylo Trash.
Raylo Trash. Yeah.
Raylo Trash when they're in the forest. I love that he's chased. I love out of nowhere. Like she's like, okay, he was just over there, and she's super paranoid. And I think that's another thing. Like force sensitive wise, why is she so paranoid? She was super paranoid in the forest.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she hears it, and he's chasing her slow speed chasing her, and like he's like just blocking the attacks, and then he like stops her, and then he puts the lightsaber by her face, and then he picks her up, and there were guards right there, and if he didn't have a thing for her, he could have had them pick her up, but he carried her bridal style. Nope, no one gets to speak on that because I am Raylo Trash.
All right. Before we
No.
close,
No.
my favorite scene was when Kylo Ren. It's a throwback to episode 5 when Kylo Ren is force grabbing Anakin's lightsaber in the snow and it starts wobbling, but then it flies past his face and Rey grabs it.
Yes.
I
Awesome.
got choked up and I cried at that scene. So yeah.
How great would it have been? I think I would have been a little more satisfied. I know this might be bad if it was Carrie Fisher. Just a little bit. I don't know.
give a shit about
I
that.
want to see Leia as a Jedi. I think
Well, there is a scene where she's holding his lightsaber, mind you. It's in the
Okay.
trailer.
No, that's Maz handing it to
Yeah,
Rey.
that's
Oh, it is? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, oopsie.
All right.
Well, she is an upside down pineapple cake. I
Oh,
don't know the
one-
difference.
One thing I was a little disappointed
an
with,
upside down
and then
pineapple
this
cake
is
with
our
glasses.
last thing. We didn't get the money shot of Kylo Ren turning on the lightsaber.
Yeah, wait, yeah,
Yes,
we
we
did.
did.
No,
notice
he
that.
already has the
No, when he's in
lightsaber on.
snow.
He already has the lightsaber on. You
The one
hear
where
it
he like
when he
walks-
turns it on in the snow and goes.
The one that
You
has
hear it,
many
you
memes
don't
of it.
see it.
at
Oh,
this
but you
point.
see it in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I saw today. Because I remember I saw it, and then the flame came out, or the laser came out of the exhaust ports, and I was like,
exhaust ports.
wait, did we see that in the movie? Because I was like,
We
I don't
didn't.
think we
just
saw
a
that.
just a trailer shot because he's not looking at anything. He's looking at a tree.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
because he's supposed to be looking at them.
We don't get the money shot of that. But that's episode 3 of the Tuesday Crusaders.
And
Woo!
this
We'll
has
see
been
you
a good
next
time.
week.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Yeah.
bye. Have a good one.
Bye.